So first of all, I'll create a new Maven project. So I will take simple project, then some name, JUnit application 1, and then now click finish. Now once the application is created, I want to add the JUnit dependencies. JUnit 5 Maven. Is not sure for Jupyter engine. Do you need this Jupyter engine? Okay. So this one. Take this. I'll take some version there. Jupyter engine we want. Okay. So some version of Jupyter engine we take. Sorry for the inconvenience. This I don't know how to handle this. I tried all possible fixes, all kind of cleaning, everything. Only thing left for me is format. Okay. I have added JUnit. This is self-learning though, but let me give you some information. Now I'm creating one. So when we finish adding JUnit, this thing we get all this. You see JUnit platforms, common JUnit platform engine, JUnit Jupyter engine. So JUnit 5 is the 5.x is the recent version of JUnit, and JUnit is the we call it as JUnit as unit testing framework for Java applications. Now, the word unit testing refers to uh, testing a piece of code, whether it is working as expected. That's the meaning of the word unit testing. Unit testing is the process of uh, testing or checking whether a given unit of code is working as expected. So that's the meaning of the word unit testing. And then JUnit is one of the unit testing frameworks used for Java applications, for unit testing Java applications. So here, what we do is we develop the application code as well as we develop the test code. Okay, so here what we do is, for example, JUnit has various annotations. Let me first of all create a new package here. Com dot let's say demo one. Okay, in this package I'm creating a new class. Okay, so new class, let's say the class name um, test hello. Okay, let me update the this Java version. I'll go to Maven Java 8 compiler plugin. So I'll update this one and come back to pom.xml. This can be updated both in pom.xml in the properties section as well as in the build configuration, which I explained some time ago. So this is every time we make some changes, we need to update Maven project. See, right clicking also not responding. How do I handle this? Maven and then update. Yeah, now this is updated. Now here, to test any piece of code, JUnit 5, one of the annotations that JUnit 5 provides is we declare a method with the @test annotation, public void test greet something. So on top of the method that we want to perform the testing, we use the test annotation like this one, @test annotation. Okay, so this is org JUnit Jupyter API test annotation. So whatever method you want to test, on top of that method, we have to use this @test annotation. And in here, I'm not writing any testing as of now. I'm just using some print command. Okay, I will show you the testing in the next few minutes. It is simple, of course. Oh my God. So um, test simple. Okay, test simple or test sample, and this is the this program we call it as JUnit test case. The test case contains a bunch of test methods. We can have so many methods like this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's say I right click here, run as, and then we get this option, you see, JUnit test. Okay, so we don't have any public static void main method here. We can still run this application using run as JUnit test. When we do this one, we get this output printed in the regular console window. The actual output of JUnit test cases is whether a given test case has passed or not. So let's say JUnit test. I run this one. See, this is the console, what we call it as JUnit test console. I demonstrated that Maven also runs the testing part. When I explained the meaning of build process, cleaning, compiling, testing, and all that stuff. So it has run one by one test, zero errors, failures are zero. So this is the class name, and this is the method name that it has performed the test cases. Okay, so that's how it looks like. So this is where, so we can make one test wantedly fail. That is possible. I'm wantedly failing one test case here. This is fail is one of the built-in. Someone texted me in the chat window. Umay, since how long you're not able to see the screen?
Like from the starting, like the screen is not visible to me.
Even now?
Yes.
Hi all, is my screen visible?
Yes, Ravi, it's visible.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation. Umay, maybe you will log off and re-log in.
Yeah, like I tried it once.
Okay, I don't know then.
Okay, then I will try.
Okay, try one more time because, yeah. So we can wantedly fail a test based on some situation. Okay, so this is not taking control shift O. Is the keyboard problem? I don't know. So we can fail a test. Okay, so this test is failed. Now when a test is failed, you don't see the green bar there, you see the red bar. Right click and then run as. This is the console output. This is nowhere related to JUnit output, please. Okay, this is nowhere related to JUnit output. JUnit output is all about this one, please. Okay, right click and then okay, you see the red bar there. The test is now failed. Okay, you can see this is a message, assertion, failed, error. This test is failed, kind of thing. And this is the description where it failed, etc. So that's called the JUnit console, and this is the meaning of testing. Uh, what we actually do in, I don't know. It's self-descriptive. After I explain you a few concepts, that will be more clear to you, and then you yourself will tell that is self-learning. Now, as I told you, unit testing is a process of checking whether a given unit of code works as expected. What do you mean by the word whether a given piece of code, whether a given unit of code works as expected means? For example, you are writing a method to add two numbers and return its result. And then you want to check whether that method is returning the result as you expect. For example, the input to the number is I comma j, just 2 plus 2 comma 2, and then you expect the return value 4. So then you want to check whether it is really returning 4 or something else other than 4. So that is the meaning of the word checking whether a given unit of code works as expected. Now let's start working with this. JUnit is the testing framework, as I told you. We'll come back to this test in few minutes. Okay, so maybe this. So the first thing we need to understand few basic annotations related to JUnit. Okay, so test annotation is used on top of any method. When we declare this annotation on top of the method, JUnit considers that this method is to be tested, kind of thing. And then let's say you have multiple methods. Let's say test one. Okay, I'm not using any fail for now. Okay, test one. Okay, something like this one. And then I take 2 to 3 methods like this one. Test two, test three, kind of this one. Okay, so this is test one, test two, and then this is test three. Okay, test two, then test three, like this one. Now this is not used now. Okay, no problem. So when I run this, we get 3 test cases. Let me close this one. Okay, so we get 3 runs. Now here, now that's the meaning of this one. Now before executing each test, we want to perform some what do you say, pre-test operation and post-test operation. For that, we have the annotations like before each. For example, you watch here, public void, let's say init, public void init. Okay, let's say here you say before each annotation, and this one I'll explain you the concept once I finish these basic annotations before each annotation. Okay, so this is executed, okay, before each. Okay, and then we have a copy paste. Okay, and then you make it as after each. So they are self-explanatory and self-learning method name annotation names. Let's say cleanup. Okay, so these, okay, after each. Okay, after each. Now as these annotations are self-describing, the methods which we declare with these annotations are executed before each test annotation method and after each test annotation method. Now we can see the output. Okay, run as JUnit test. Okay, window. Where is my console window gone? Now you can see before each test one, after each test one, before each test two, after each test two, like this one. So that is before each and after each. And there is something called as before all and after all, public void global init, some decent method name. It's not a rule that this method name has to be global init and this method name has to be global init. We follow certain best practices as per the project name and the domain for which we are writing the test cases. So let's say I have this is before all. Okay, and then here we declare at the rate before all, and this is again self-explanatory, before all and after all. Okay, so let's say this is after all. I did not start JUnit actual example yet. I'm giving some ground up knowledge as of now. So global cleanup, something like this one. Okay, this is after all. And this is uh, the method names as annotations are self-descriptive again here. So these are executed for each test and before and after each test. And these are executed only once, before all tests and after all tests. Okay. So before I execute this program now as a JUnit test case execution, there is one small correction. If someone knows, can you please correct me, tell me that correction in this method declarations? If already you have used it, or if you remember it, I don't know how far you have used it.
They need to be static.
Yeah, thank you, Amay. So it has to be static. So these need to be static because these are executed once for all. It's not executed one for each. So that's the reason they need to be static. If we don't use them static, they will not be compiled and executed. So sorry for that. Oh my God. Okay. After all, and then this has to be static method, but that is not the case with before it, before each and after each. And then you say something called as static. And now let's say if I run all these things as JUnit test, we get, so you see we get before all only one time and after all only one time. So depending upon the situation, you decide whether it has to be before each and before all or something like that one. They are used to initialize the object creation and destroying the object creation, like nullifying the objects like that. So that is about few fundamental annotations, test, and all those things. Now, has anyone used disabled annotation? Can you please suggest me? Amay, okay, Revant, Shubham, Umang, Zahid, Smita, anyone please? Those people who have exposure to JUnit. Have you come across disabled annotation? Anyone please?
No, Ravi, like disabled I've never came across.
Okay. Okay, anyone else please? Smita?
Ravi. No.
No. Okay. Shubham, Amay?
No, Ravi.
Okay, no issues. Thank you all. So here disabled is kind of we write the test case, but we make it as disabled for time being. Okay, this will not be executed. Kind of test one, for example. Okay, say this has JUnit test case. Okay, you see test one is not there. Test two and three are there. So when we are writing JUnit test cases, as the number of test cases keep evolving, uh, maybe one of the test cases is failing for some reason. For example, the code inside this particular test case is dependent upon the remote database server connection. While when running this particular test case, by the time we are running this one, the server may be down. Okay, if the server is down and this test case continuously fail, so it continuously fails. So because of this one is getting failed, our remaining work is put on pending, for example. Okay, the entire remaining work post completion of this test case is put on hold, for example. In such cases, we temporarily want to wantonly disable a test. Okay, it's not permanently disabling, please. It's temporarily disabled, and once we get the so-called remote server up and running, and we can remove this annotation, and this goes as usual. Okay, so I guess I explained the purpose of the disabled annotation. Can all of you please raise your hand symbol if you understood that? Yes, thank you all. Clear of your response. Okay, so that's about the disabled annotation, before all, before each, and then because that's not used for now, and then what we can do is, let's say we have so many annotations, so many tests like this one. There is a possibility for us where we can perform the test order execution. Test order execution by default, it's not compulsory that these tests are executed in the sequence in which they appear. It's not guaranteed, even though we get the output in such a way, but it's still only random order they are executed. Okay, So any luck, anyone knows how do we make use of the change the order of the execution? Anyone knows that? Anyone used it? Can you please suggest me the way?
Yeah, there is an order annotation,
Yeah,
and also we have to write. Don't recollect the exact annotation on the class, but we have to write another. I think run order or test order something,
yeah.
which will indicate by name or whatever.
That is correct. The concept is correct. As you don't remember, no problem, not an issue. What we can do is on a particular test annotation method name, we can use @order annotation. Okay, we need to import that. This one is so much irritating. Yeah, it's imported, but still we are getting. Yeah. So here this order annotation here we have to give the values like 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay, so this is executed at serial number 1, maybe this is serial number 2, for example. Okay, this is this one, I want this one to be executed as this is test 3, I want to get it to be executed as this one is 3, for example. So simply mentioning order annotation and the respective order, it won't work. Because we have to mention on top of the test class test method order, test method order. Inside here we have to mention, inside here we have to mention method order class is equal to, okay, class is equal to, so it's not this one. First we have random, okay, this is random dot class. So default one is random dot class, or this is the default one. Alternatively, we can mention alphanumeric. We can mention alphanumeric dot class like this one. If you mention alphanumeric dot class, it will take the alphanumeric kind of thing. Okay, for example, when I run this one, okay, JUnit test. So test 1, you see, test 3, and then test 2. Okay, and then if you remove this one, then run this one, you get test 1, test 2, test 3. This is the default. I told you it need not be necessarily the order in which they appear, nothing as such. So the test method order we can use this one, so alphanumeric, and then that stuff we can declare that. So that is the order annotation. Now that's about the fundamental list of annotations. Okay, and that's it. So the basic annotations related to these are not we did not start JUnit testing as of now, please. Only the fundamental annotations now. So these are all self-descriptive and self-learning. So we have before each, we have after each. Okay, we have before all, then after all, then we have something called let's say before each, and then uh, order annotation, and then test method order, and there is something called as rate disabled, and there are even more 3 to 4 more annotation which are used, but these are the most frequently used ones. So these are the this is self-descriptive. I'm deleting them, so that's done. Now let's move on to the actual testing concept for now. So this is done. Now what I do is I will, okay, so I'll maybe I will nothing to save this file. This is empty, nothing. This this can be self-learning. What I do is I will create one main class. I'll create one package, then com dot on test app one package, something I create there. Package dot main, something I create. Inside here I'm creating one class. Okay, so in this Java class I'm creating one let's say some hello class or hello world class, something. So this is the business class inside which we have the methods like public, string, greet, and then string first name, kind of this one. And then here this first name is there, and this one is return. It has to greet the given person name, hello, and then a space, and then plus first name. It need not be first name, it can be name or something, whatever it is. Now I want to when I run this method, for example, I have the main method in here. Okay, so when I run this method, so let's say hello world. So system.println new hello world, and when I run this hello world.greet method, let's say I give Ravi. Once again, I have a chat message. I did not. Asmita, is it mandatory that every method in that class should have? No, whatever annotation method you apply, it will work. Otherwise, it will take the remaining as non-ordered. Asmita Singh, did I answer you?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you. So I have this one. You have so this method is taking, so it should print me hello Ravi, right, in the output. So I want to test whether it is returning hello Ravi or not when I write the test case. So currently it is printing, kind of hello Ravi. I want to test whether I'm getting this output from the so-called greet method or not, is what we mean to speak when checking whether a piece of code works as expected. So I don't want to use this one. I'm not using this one now. So I want to go and here and create a new class, and then let's say test hello world. Usually the test classes are prefixed with the word test. It is not a rule. It's only a convention. It's not at all a rule, please. And then inside here we have the method. So what is that method? I want to do public void test greet, and usually we make use of the method name suffix, and test as the prefix, so which indicates the method that we want to test. Okay, but there are chances that we want to write multiple test conditions for a single method. In that case, the convention will be little different. Okay, so here for example, I want to test here. So what do I want to test here is, I want to first of all create hello world hw is equal to new hello world, and then I created an object. And when I call the greet method of this hello world object, I say greet method. When I call the greet method, in here I say I pass in some input, and when I execute this one, I will get some result, right? String result is equal to something. So I want to check, I want to test whether this result contains hello Ravi and kind of thing. So in order to check that, JUnit provides a ton of assertions, assertion methods. We call them assertions. Okay, if you look at the JUnit 5 assertions, okay, you will find so many things. Assertions is the so this is the class assertions in JUnit Jupyter API. Okay, so JUnit 5 we call it as JUnit Jupyter, and there are old versions of JUnit like 4 and 3. Okay, so now you see here, you see this is all static. Everything is static. The list is pretty lengthy. You see so many assertions are there, and each assertion has multiple overloading versions available. So for example, the very first hello world JUnit example everyone usually learns is something called as assert equals. Okay, when I scroll down, you can see assert equals started here. It has byte version, it has equals version, it has character version, it has double version. So when you notice these assert methods, you can simply see this is the expected value that we supply, this is the actual value that we get from the method call, kind of thing. So here I should supply, in my case, of course, I want to check for the string. If you look at that, so assert equals of string, and it should be object. Okay, so assert because string is an object, right? So expected, and so this is what I want to use. For example, I will explain you its meaning with the code example. So I want to use kind of this. So assert equals in this place I want to provide the expected value. What is the expected value? Expected value is hello colon then space and then Ravi. This is the expected value. The actual value that I received is res result, where I got it stored, something like this one. And then this is a static method inside the assertions, as you have already noticed here. So we can go for the assertions dot. Okay, usually we don't go this way because Java 5 onwards, there is something called as the static import available, wherein the import statement can include the static keyword like this one, import static like this one, and then the assertions, the class name dot whatever we want to import into statically. Whenever we want to import it statically, we can directly use without the class name prefixed here. So directly we can use that particular assertion. So here there is one space. Okay, in my code also one space is available. You see, hello space and kind of. So I have to use the exactly same thing. This is what I'm expecting in the output when I make a call to this method, and this is the actual value that is returned by the method calls. And then on top of this method, I say like rate test kind of thing, something like this one, and then right click and then run as JUnit test keys. Okay, so we got it right. So it is a green, so zero errors and something kind of this one, zero failures are there. Now let me remove the space or something. Okay, save this file and then again right click and then run as JUnit test case. Now you see it has failed. Okay, when it failed, okay, you can see expected was hello colon without space Ravi, but was the actual was hello colon space Ravi. So it will give us the purpose. So here that's the meaning of checking whether a given unit of code is working as expected. So now, did I clear you with the question? What is the meaning of checking whether a given unit of code is working as expected? Especially first timers to JN, can you please respond with your feedback? Thank you, Zahid and everyone. Please, thank you all. Clear of your response. So that's the meaning. Now, let's say in this particular case, I want to make it as correct again back. Now, this is how it looks like. Now, in this particular case, I don't want, I have another method, for example, test greet is there. So let's say, for example, I have another method. Let's say I want to add, let me add some addition of two numbers, for example. So public integer sum of int I comma int j, in sum of int I comma int j, and in here I want to return 10 return I plus j, return I plus j. This is my method I want to test. So when I go here, I want to go for this method. Let's say return test some kind of this one. So here once again the expected result is let's say integer result, and then I say this is kind of integer sum of let's say the data as 10 comma 20, and then I'm expecting kind of expected is 30, and then result is what so if I get this is 20, sorry, this is 20 kind of this one. So this way I'm testing now two methods. You can see I got two correct, so failures are zero there. Now let's say I give it some 30 there. Now save this one and then run it as the test case, and then this shows. You see two tests are run, and then failures are one failure, and then you can look at the JUnit console. Expected was 30, but the result was kind of this one 40 kind of. So that's where we do that. Now in this context, this is the right situation to understand before each and after each. So you want to do some object creation before each. This is actually what kind of. So what we do is we declare method public static otherwise depending on the situation, public static let's say init public void init. So here what I do is I will cut and paste this one in here, and then I say this is okay, like this one, and then I will declare it here. Okay, so kind of this one. Okay, or this way I do that. So this is init method, and then what I do at the rate, okay, before each. Not exactly the same way, just giving you some idea how do we use before each and after each. And then what I do is after each I do it kind of after each what I do is clean up. Okay, cleanup, kind of this one, and then this one will be null. So after the test is completed, I want to make it as null, kind of this one. So these are done. So this is created, which is common to. So there is no more hello world object creation in here. It's put at the common place. So that's how you can now understand what is the use of before each and after each. So before executing each test, I want to create an object and I want to destroy an object. Okay, but it should be used with enough care. If you have multiple tests to be run and then you do that, that will slow down, so kind of thing. So that's how we use. Now we can still run this one. We will possibly get one red color because we did not change it to 40 RPM. So that's about running the testing kind of thing. So JUnit testing is all about these test assertions, please. Nothing beyond this one. It's about testing assertions. So many tests are there, and then you have the you have the when you run this test case, you can see you have kind of the description we are getting there. You're getting the description. Okay, so now you want to give your own text message. Let's say for the failed message, for example, where is that test? Let's say if it is failed means okay, you see object and then actual value is different than expected. Okay, kind of thing. This is a method overloading, you all know, right? So when you run this test case, now you can see actual value is different than expected value. So this is how the you want to give your own message in the this what so these are all self-descriptive, please. And then that's about the meaning of the testing process. Now let's move on and see few assertions. Now let me write one more class. Maybe here I'm writing one class here, a new Java class. Let's say I have a login service kind of thing. In this login service, maybe I want to write one. I'm not using multiple packages to simplify, and then I create a new class kind of login DAO. Login DAO. I'm not using any interface, any implementation, nothing as such. Simple things I'm taking in here. And in here I have something called login method. So public boolean, and then authenticate or validate user, whatever suitable method name you want to use, you can use it there. So I'm taking it as authenticate, and inside here I say string username and then string password, and then what I do is something this one. So I have some logic in here. For example, I say if username dot equals of some name, and then I see at the rate, and then okay, password dot equals of Ravi username, and then I want to return true, otherwise I want to return false. Okay, I have this method. I want to develop the test case for this one. So this method is inside the login DAO class. I want to create an object of the login DAO inside the login service. Let's say private login DAO. Okay, and then login DAO. Maybe I take for sake of simplicity, just DAO is okay for me. And then here public boolean, and then what I want to do is again I want to use the same method name, authenticate. Okay, it's up to the business requirement. And this authenticate method again takes the username, and then string password, kind of this one. Okay, kind of so here I want to do return DAO dot authenticate of username and then password. This is how I want to work with my. So I have login DAO and login service kind of thing. So here where is this DAO now? This is not yet created, so it will be null, and then I'll get the null pointer exception kind of. So for that reason, for now I'm creating DAO is equal to new login DAO, kind of this one. I get something like this one. So I have this one. Now I want to do the testing of the login service authenticate method, or otherwise the authenticate method of the login DAO, etc. So how do I do that? So please watch here. I'm creating a new test class, new class. Let's say this is the new test class here. And then let's say test login, because so in this test login I want to use, and then what I want to do is I want to declare a login service. Okay, login service service, and then I want to go for before each, and then I say public void test sorry, public void init, and then let's say service is equal to new login service. Okay. Then the login service is created, then I did some bunting in chart window. So this, so that's the login service, and then let's say we have before each, and this is after each. Okay, after each, and then let's say this is destroy some method name, so this is equal to null kind of thing. Now what I want to do is public void test authenticate, okay, test authenticate, and here I say on top of this one iterate test method, test annotation, and in here I want to say boolean result is equal to service dot authenticate of username as Ravi, and then I say password as the Ravi there, and then kind of this one. So I should get true now because both are same. I should get true. Now I want to check whether this one is returning true, or because the input is correct, and I'm expecting the result as true there. I want to check for that. So assert okay, assert true. We have to make this time, we are not making use of assert equals this time, please. Assert true. As I told you, all these methods are pretty much self-descriptive. You have a bunch of methods available. You can browse, explore them, and then you can use the relevant things. So assert true of what? Expected is true, and result is the actual value that I'm. So this has to be imported statically. Somehow this key combination is not working. I don't know, some keyboard issue, or I don't know. So this is assert true has now been imported. Okay, so assert true, and now when you run this test case, static import, what happened?
Ravi, you just have to pass the result. It will check whether it is true or false. Like
Oh, sorry,
there is one
sorry.
single argument.
Yeah. Thank you. I am with the equals method. Sorry for that. So I want to pass the result. Thank you. Who's that?
Umang it is.
Yeah, Umang, thank you. I was in continuation with equals method. So when I run this one, let's say we get this one. So I said true. I got it true there. So I will give let's say a lowercase r, and then I say that kind of this one. Then JUnit test. It fails. So that's how we go for the this one. So then this way you want to do reverse of this assert true, you have assert false is there. For example, I give lowercase r, and then you want to make it as assert false. Okay, that is also there. So every possibility is there for us. Okay, now assert false, again I have to import that. Not working, control shift O. So when I run this one, that is returning false. So this returns me false, this is false, and this is false. So I'll get the test case working green bar. So that's assert true and assert false kind of thing, whatever you want to do. So let me put it undo there. I want to make it as assert true. Okay, assert true kind of thing, and then here I give the correct value there, and then something else. Now when I do this one, this will go and hit the authenticate method of the service, and then here I want to make this method get now or something, because something. So this method should not throw me an exception. For example, object is not created. When the object is not created, this is not available, right? So when this is not available, we'll get the null pointer exception kind of thing. So for example, if I go here, and then this is my method, and then if I go there now, okay, so I get the null pointer exception. This is not at all related to testing exception. Please be noted. This is the business logic failure. This is not the testing related exception, null pointer exception, because I don't have. So here, what I want to do is, so there is a chance that this method causes the null pointer exception. There is a chance that this method returns true or false. There is a chance that I get incorrect input to this one, empty input. So for a given single method, we never usually, we don't have a single test. We have multiple conditions that we want to test, and that one we call it as test coverage or code coverage, or technically we call it as. So here now it is showing me an so what I want to do is I want to write another test. Let's say a test of kind of public void test does not throw, test does not throw, kind of this one. So here I want to test authenticate test authenticate not throw an exception, not throw an exception, some descriptive name be providing here. So here if you look at this, this is the I want to check whether the authenticate method is not throwing exception or not. So I want to ensure that the authenticate method is not throwing an exception. So you can go and check here, assert does not throw. Okay, so this alphabetical, right? So assert false, assert equals. Okay. What is that method name? Is it assert does not throw? Assert throws is there. Assert throw, assert does not throw is there. By it is not coming here. Control F. Am I in the right this one? Anything incorrect? Assert A. Anyone finding any clue here? Why I'm not finding here? Am I in incorrect place anywhere? Anyone, please? It's there, and it's assert does not throw is there, but it's not being shown there in that documentation. Okay, that's not okay. So assert does not throw, and here if you look at the assert does not throw, which means I want to ensure I want to ensure that it does not throw me an error. So here I make a call to the executable. If you look at this one, okay, and let's say I will show you that assert does not throw. It is taking an executable which is a functional interface, and if you look at this executable, let's say that assert does not throw, assert does not throw. What happened? Something wrong, I don't know. Okay, JUnit 5 executable. Okay, open this one. This is the executable. This is the functional interface. Okay, so this is the functional interface executable. It has a single method, execute method. That is what we are able to. So here inside this one, assert does not throw. I have to write provide an object of the class that implements the executable interface. What I'm trying to explain here is kind of I need a class, for example, okay, class test test x, okay, test x implements class test x implements executable, okay, JUnit executable, and in here I have to kind of override the method, okay, add an implemented method. So here this is the method, this method is void, this method is void, and this is the execute method. So whatever I type here, so let's say system.out.println hello, and then something. So what I need to do is inside here I need to pass an object of the executable interface, that is new test ex, new test ex. When I do this one, what will happen is when I run the JUnit test case here, what will happen is JUnit will automatically execute the execute method inside this test ex object. It will execute the execute method inside this supplied test ex object, and while executing the execute method of this so-called object, it will figure out whether the execution of this method is causing an exception or not, so we have assert throws, assert throw is available, assert does not throw is available, kind of this one. So this is how it looks like. So this can entirely be written using Java 8 syntax, because the lambda expression and all that stuff. So here what I do is I will take here the lambda expression of Java 8, kind of this one. So this is how I do this one. So this is the this is my so this is my Java 8. So here I want to make a call to the some code in here. So whatever I want to, whatever code I want to write, let me go for an undo for a minute. Where is undo? Undo. So here I want to write some method here. For example, let's say service. I will create one login service. Login service service is equal to new login service. Okay, and then here I say service dot authenticate of hello hello comma then hello, something like this one is what I'm creating here. So whatever I want, so when I perform the authenticate method, it should not cause me the what do you say, the null pointer exception I want to check. So here, so this is what, so whatever I'm writing in here, this piece of code I will write here inside the lambda expression. I'm commenting this line, hold on. So let's say assert does not throw, assert does not throw. So here this is the lambda expression I want to develop here. So this is the lambda expression here, and inside this one is what I want to write, these two lines of code. So these two lines of code, copy here, and then so this, when this method is executed, and if this method throws an exception, if this execution, if this piece of throws an exception, this test will fail. Okay, if this piece of code does not throw the null pointer exception, this test will pass, kind of thing. So that's the meaning of the assert does not throw. So now the meaning has just been explained. I will remove this one, and then here I already have the service object available, so I'm not using the service object anymore. And then here authenticate whatever. So here authentication, username and password, anything I can use, kind of thing. So that's how it looks like. So have you all understood this? Assert does not throw this executable lambda. Can you please raise your hand symbol? Yes, thank you all. Clear of your response. I think these are all unknown topics to all of you people. So I say the run as JUnit. So now so null pointer exception. So here it has thrown the exception. I got the null pointer exception that it does not throw. So I want to check even. So there is opposite version, assert throws. Is a specific method throwing an exception? Is that is there or not? So that is one of the problems. And then let me correct it back. So there is one failure. Okay, and that's a failure. Now let's say @test void, sorry, so let's say public void test authenticate throws, test authenticate throws. Now this time I want to do kind of assert throws. So in assert throws, so we have two parameters. In assert does not throw, there is only one executable. Now this is what you are typing here. So I want to come back to the login page, and then I want to say here if let's say username dot length equals 0 or password dot length equals to 0, and then I want to say throw new. I don't want to support a empty blank username and password. Throw new illegal argument exception. Okay, so username and password cannot be empty. Okay, cannot be empty, kind of thing. So that's how so for a given single method, this is one test case, this is this way, this is kind of various test cases are available. What is the correction? Yeah, something went wrong, no problem. So that's how. So I want to test the authenticate method if it is throwing an illegal argument exception when the username and password is empty. So here assert throws, this is a method name. So I want to, so let's say illegal argument exception dot class. Okay, so whether I am getting this exception raised when I'm executing this executable. So here I will have to give the lambda expression. Okay, kind of this one. Okay, so here this is the lambda expression, and then service dot, okay, service dot authenticate of, let's say empty, and then let's say empty kind of thing, service dot authenticate. And then this time let me put this DAO back. Where is my DAO object? Undo, save this one, and come back here. Now this will not throw me the exception. And then let's say this is how it goes. So now let me run this one. Okay, okay, run as JUnit. Okay, so this is throwing me an exception. This is throwing me an exception. Okay, I don't want to, I want to, let's say, because these are empty, this is throwing me an exception. Let's say I don't write this one. Okay, add block comment. Now save this file and then come back in here. JUnit test case. This has failed. This has failed. Okay, so expected was java.lang.illegal argument exception to be thrown, but nothing was thrown. So we have the feasibility for each and everything, please. Okay, asset null, asset not null, asset equals. Okay, this way you want to do the testing. So JUnit is all about. So you have to be careful enough and to decide how many test case methods that you want to write for testing a single method. So there are chances that this method alone will require 10 test methods, like this one, test method 1, test method 2, test method 3, like that. So that is called as code coverage. Okay, so test coverage or code coverage. Okay, so that's how it looks like. So all of you, please raise your hand symbol whether you understood this asset throws and asset does not throw and everything, please. So that way we can do it. Thank you all. Clear of your response. Nothing much. So you have, I think there is some public void test multiple kind of thing, and then let's say this is a test there. Okay, at the rate test, and then what I want to do is, okay, assert all is there. Okay, assert all, you have the executable. Okay, assert all. So this is assert all. You can give a bunch of executables available, so that will give you the kind of this one. Okay, this is 1 comma, and then this is 2 comma, like this one. You can keep on giving the things. So when all of these executables written true, only assert all will become success. Otherwise, so this one fails and this one succeeds, means it won't work. This gives you this assertion is failed. So that's the assert all. Okay, you want to check whether something is returning null, you want to check whether something is equal, you want to check something is false. There are a bunch of things you want to do something, then you can go for assert all. Only then everything. So that's how you can. So you can club all these guys into one single, depending upon your so that's the assert all. Okay, so if everything is correct, it will make it as the true false kind of thing. So that's about the this is limitless. It keeps on going. So it's all self-explanatory. All of you, please raise your hand symbol whether that helped the with respect to JUnit. Okay. So thank you all. Care of your response, this kind of thing. Okay, so nothing to share here. This is all self-descriptive. Even I need not share this notes, no examples. Pretty much straightforward. Okay, so this is much about the idea of